done reading the hip hop one, I'm going right to the one that she suggested. But it's so important to do that, right? Big part of adulting is being better than the person you were the day before, and it's not always easy for everybody. Some people have demons, some people have addictions, and it's tough, right? So myself, I have family members that have direct cause and effect from the opiate crisis, and as bad as that drug is, it just makes you a fucking zombie. Excuse my language, but it's just sad to see, you know, the medical profession pump the drugs like they do without understanding the cause and effect that it has, right? Once you give somebody a certain amount of dose of something like that, any type of opiate, they're gonna eventually go looking for it on the street, right?
Because they're waiting for that next high. They need that.
Yeah, there's somebody that said it is like put the Batman suit on and save the day at night, but then go put on the suit during the day and go cause the problems during the day. So, you know, it's just about being a better person, and like, you know, there's so many things that we can debate about it, but there's so much trivial stuff that people are debating over that is not even worth the conversation, right? Then that's what social media perpetuates. Instead of talking about the actual issues and getting to the problem solving, it's more about perpetuating the trivial stuff that just keeps people back and forth, and there's no resolve, right?
And nobody wants to have the hard conversations.
A lot of people do avoid it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, no thank you. No, I don't want to look this way because that's ugly, and I just want to like live in my bubble. And that's something that I've always joked about when people are like, oh, like my dad is like a certain way, and he thinks and he believes a certain way, like he loves Trump. Mm-hmm. And when I say love, like I mean like he's obsessed with Trump. And if anybody disagrees, he's like, let's go, and he gets passionate. But you know what? Whether or not you believe in Trump or not, I'd rather somebody who's passionate about something and he knows everything. And I was like, that means you took time out of your day to actually like follow through on what you're saying. Exactly. So at least even if we're different views or the same views, I just respect people who are putting in the time to learn more.
Yeah, it's just the extremists we have to worry about, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you have people that are married to their ideologies and they become extremists, then it becomes problematic. If you can disagree with somebody and still remain friends afterwards, that just means you're grown. You know what I mean? And I know some people have some things that they will stand firmly on, like racism or whatever. I'm personally that way. Like I've always said that. Like I'll have disagreements with friends and still remain friends afterwards, except for stuff like racism. That's like, it's 2021 now, right?
Oh.
So every day I just try to put a little bit of information out there, or at least a thought-provoking question that gets somebody to go and want to educate themselves and go and dig deep in themselves, right? Like that's a big part of growing, is getting, you know, into the deepness, right? Because you got to uncover traumas too, right? Some people are angry because they have these, you know, buried traumas from their childhood or whatever, and so understanding how to uncover those, heal, reconcile, and, you know, move forward, right?
Exactly. And like I know for me, when as a child, like I was always told to be quiet. I was always told to like, you're a lady, like be nice, be quiet, don't shine, cover up, just blend. Like that was my job, is to be respectful and blend. So anytime anything happened, I never had a voice. And so
it made you reserve?
Yeah.
Right.
And then when I became a teenager, I was just rebellious because I was just so mad that all these things were happening. I was like, fine. If this is what it is, if this is my reality, let's go. I'll show you.
Right.
And then, like, I am a victim of abuse, and I love that you said that, like, you have to stand firm, because it took until I was 30, and this is the first time I ever said, I'm like, if you think that what this person did is okay, then we're done. I'm done, because I can't be surrounded by people who think that abusing women it's okay.
Yeah, no, it's disrespectful, it's disgusting, and it's down. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm glad you took the time and the effort to step out of that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to draw a line in the sand and say, take off, right?
Yeah.
So I totally commend you for that, and I do apologize that somebody treated you that way. People can be mean, and it's unfortunate that some people are still doing that in their 30s or 40s, and they haven't learned yet. Some people, I guess, maybe just need to go back to the school ground and be taught, some basic stuff.
Basics.
Yeah. But, some people are, like you said, in a bubble, and it's super unfortunate that people want to remain in a bubble and purposely turn the blind eye, because that's not what we need in 2021,
no.
right? Like, we have so much of a weird political climate, and it just, like, the tension is very... It's weird times. Like, in the States, it's much worse. But in Canada, I see people with Trump stickers and this and that. I'm like, you're from Canada? You got a Trump sticker?
Oh my gosh. So the funniest story, though, I was just at the beach, and I'm sitting with my girlfriend, and we're laying down, and this guy and his friend are walking up. He's like, hey. He's like, you like Trump? And I was like...
That's a pickup line?
And I'm like... What? He's like, 'cause I do. And he takes off his hat, and it's a red hat with writing, and it says, make Canada great again. And I was like, he's like, so can I give you my number? I'm like, absolutely not.
Special guy.
I was like, holy, like they're using that as a pickup line.
That's not a lead, yeah.
No, I was like, do better, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I think a lot of people need to do better. I personally started doing more politics, and I started to separate my music and my politics, because a friend of mine was like, hey, went to your Facebook timeline, and I tried to find your song to show somebody, and it took me forever to scroll down and find it. So I started to separate it. So I created a group called the Humane Party, and I post a lot of my ideologies over there, and then I have an artist page. I post my music over there, and then I use my personal Facebook for just random stuff. So mostly memes, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so since I've done that, it's helped me, be more direct with getting what I want out of it, right? Like, I want people to engage in my music, and I want people to engage into the politics stuff and create dialogue and create conversation about stuff.
Because you want that open. Mm-hmm. You want a safe space, but you also want people that are going to be open enough to be like, hey, these are my views, this is what I think. And then I think it's nice to have a respectful back and forth.
100%. It's unfortunate when it gets on the internet, it can get nasty or get rude quickly, because people are behind the keyboard.
And they're like, we're so strong, we're so big, like, look at me, I'm behind a screen.
Or what's really unfortunate, what just happened to me recently, I'll tell you a story. I was posting in the Humane Party, and this guy would make these comments, and I couldn't understand, because I didn't know him, and I think that he just found my music, and then because he found my music, I just automatically added him to all my groups. And then when I sent him a DM and asked him if he had a problem with me, he started to show that he was, like, very Christian, and the one post, it was like a pro LGBTQ community post, and he was just really rude. And then if I, like, mentioned anything about the Catholic Church and what's happened to the indigenous children over the last 150 years,
which is a huge topic right now.
Huge topic. And he, instead of, like, agreeing or talking about the facts, he just was, like, shattered. Like, he was just like, he couldn't speak. He spoke from emotion rather than from logic. And I guess that's the fight or flight, right? So, like, if you shatter somebody's whole world because they've been devoted to Christianity for X amount of years, and then you say, hey, sure, the Christianity might, do good for some people, but this is what's happened in the history of, some of these churches, and then boom, their whole world crashes down, and they get all emotional, and then they start being offensive and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough to have those conversations. I try to avoid those ones, but some of them happen anyways, and you kind of just have to deal with it.
And it's hard, because I grew up Christian Pentecostal. That is my entire life. And even now my family's like, I can't believe, like, you're raising your kids to, like, not be a Christian. I was like, I'm not raising my kids to not be a Christian. I'm just not putting them in a church because of what the church... No, I have to learn how to rephrase that. What the people who went to that church, how they treated me. And I'm not saying that all the churches are like that. It's just based on my personal experience and how people from the church have treated me. I just know that I want my children, I'm going to avoid it. Mm-hmm. Whether or not it would happen to them, based on my personal experience, I'm just taking them out of it. They go to a Catholic school. So they still learn about God and all that stuff, but I'm just careful with what I do. And
as you should.
Yeah, and right now, I'm not obviously proud of the Catholic Church. I'm not proud of what has been, like I said, I would go to a school and I do Indigenous studies, and what happened and what is going to be continually unraveled and uncovered is, there's no words to describe how horrific it is. And I just want my children to be so fully aware of everything. And that's my main thing. And I know my mom and my dad were like, how dare you say that? And I was like, they did get murdered. Children got murdered. I'm telling my 6-year-old that. Hate me for it? That's what happened. My children should know that this is a reality.
Yeah, we have to face the facts, right?
And we can't keep on sweeping it under the rug.
I was raised Catholic up until, the 90s, and that's when I started to hear about the stories of priests diddling children and stuff. So I quickly became an atheist. And it didn't take long for that to happen. I have read into some other religions and stuff like that because I'm interested, right? Like the 7 chakras. It's super cool stuff, and it's super interesting.
I'm obsessed with chakras.
I've even read parts of the Quran, I've even Buddhas.
But all the messages, truthfully, and I'm not trying to get into religion, but if you look at just the basics of everything, it's just loving and respecting each other. That's Buddha was the one that was no, you should treat people. The people who are lower than you are not actually lower than you. They are not your slaves because they were born into that family. Yeah. We are all people. And every single religion or spirituality just has a general truth to it. Yeah. And so when I'm raising my children, when I'm talking to people, like I said, I will always respect whatever your belief is. Just respect mine, that I just believe to be the best person that I can be. And if I can do that, I'm good. I'm an energy person, so I'd totally drive with your sister. I'm full of crystals, and I believe in the chakras, and I listen to high frequency.
I get crystals for my birthday.
Yeah.
I get crystals for my birthday.
And I go to bed listening to high frequencies, and if I feel ill, there's certain frequency vibrations that help your body heal. I'm weird like that, but you know what? I was it helped me.
That's awesome.
So if it's not harming anybody, do what makes you happy.
Exactly, and that's the key, right? Is just being humane and not harming people, and just keeping a good mindful awareness around you, right?
Yeah.
Even when you're at the grocery store, I just had some guy freak out at the cashier because they were taking 2 minutes, and I'm like, dude, are you late for work? Just chill out.
Maybe you shouldn't have went to the grocery store if you're in a rush.
Yeah, or come 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
If you're in a rush, then you should have left the house 5 minutes earlier.
The one thing I am really excited about is that our generation is more emotionally developed. We are kind of understanding that it's more serious than maybe what our parents have done, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, there's a lot of good that's going to come out of the pandemic. There's a lot of messed up things happening, but I think there is a lot of good. All the protests and all people coming together, and we need unity. Right?
Yeah.
If unity is something that is so distant, and everybody's got a tribe that they're attached to, and they'll be attached to this tribe but still hate this tribe, and there's too much of that going on. We just need to bring people together. How we're going to do that is just having another safe Woodstock, not one from '99, but yeah.
Well, maybe a little bit before that time.
But just music brings people together. I think arts period bring people together. It's so important. It's therapeutic. If I didn't make music or grow my weed plants, I don't know where I would be right now. That's how it's kept me grounded. It's kept me sane. It's been able to free my mind. When I go and play with my plants and put on the classical music, But
I sing to my plants.
I sometimes do. It depends on what song's on, But I agree with that. The plants are life. Why not?
And so we were just talking about COVID, and
yeah.
What do we have here?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, I just pulled the trigger. Well, not you need to know that I bought a machine, but when you're down and out in COVID, you always pull the trigger on something that you've always wanted. And so I've always wanted to get into production and open up the doors musically. So I purchased this drum machine / sampler. It's great. It's a great music production piece. It's pretty limitless. I'm still learning, watching tutorials on a regular basis. I got my record player set upstairs. I got my vinyl set upstairs. So I'm just constantly taking old records and sampling them and just messing around and just slowly learning. I'm still amateur, but you guys will hear a beat from me very soon.
And I am so excited to continue to listen to all of this. And time just flew by. I can't believe it's nearing the end. So I would love to take this time to kind of ask you, what was your biggest trials and tribulations that have brought you to where you are now? And what is a message that you would leave our viewers with?
My biggest trials and tribulations is just being a damn grown-up. Every day I struggle with, anger or just anything, right? Just being better than I was the day before. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a behavioral, I need to learn from these professionals so that I can, be a better person. So just treating my coworkers and treating family members and just everybody with mindfulness is my biggest accomplishment right now. Just being a better person. I'm 40 now, so no more playing games and partying and drinking out of funnels and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to just keep that message going. So I do that in the music, I do that on social media, and I encourage everybody to do that. And I guess that would be my message to everybody, is just be mindful to everybody and just lead with love, right? If you lead with love, nothing, positivity, man. Power of positivity, right? Lots that comes from that, right? You can be negative all you want, but you're just gonna bring a shitstorm of more negativity, and you can find the positivity in the negative stuff. You can make, how do you think diamonds are made, right? So, press your bust pipes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God,
I appreciate it.
It was such an absolute pleasure.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining in on another episode of Trials and Tribulations. Please make sure you check out all your amazing music, and with the release that just came out,
thank you.
All the links are going to be in the comments, and we're going to see you next week, right? Hey guys, thanks so much for watching another episode of Trials and Tribulations. Please hit that subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. All your support means the absolute world to me. Let's just do that again. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Trials and Tribulations. Please hit that subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Follow your soul, and we'll see you guys next week.